Freezer meals. Think of them as a gift to your future self. Now, when I hear freezer meals, sometimes I can get overwhelmed. It used to be a big 5-hour production. My name is Kathy from Fabulously Frugal, and today I hope to empower you to make freezer meals a part of your routine. What I have found that works fantastic is to do batches between 5 and 10 meals. I've got 5 different recipes. I'm gonna make 8 dinners out of them. We've got homemade spaghetti sauce, which I'm also gonna use for lasagna. And we have our favorite Rio Rancho taco meat, which is a fun flavor. We've got our homemade Manwhich sloppy joes, which is always a hit. And like I said, the cheeseburger stuffed shells. So follow me. I'm gonna show you my tips and tricks. P.S. just so you know, someone left the freezer open the other night and we lost a lot of meat, and I had a lot of meat that was still usable, but I had to cook it up. Thus, ground beef freezer meals for you. So what I'm gonna do is I've got my handy little cart there that I love to use to store my Instant Pot. I have the list of everything I need for these freezer meals, and I also have that linked for you below. I've got a link to that cart for you below. If you're not into ground beef recipes, I've got right here 8 chicken freezer meals that I prepared in 1 hour. So go check that out too. Let me know in the comments below if you would like me to capture some video of the day that I cook each of these freezer meals, and I just might create that for you. So I've got my list, I've got my cart. I'm gonna take it into my pantry and load it up with everything that I need. I've eaten lunch. I'm gonna put my hair up in a ponytail. I've got my apron on. I've got my meat ready to go. Well, it's thawed. You ready to do this? Let's go. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is use my Instant Pot to cook up all of my ground beef. That way it can cook, it's completely hands off. I'm just gonna throw it in there, and then while that cooks, I will be doing other things. So I'm gonna just use this to lift the beef off, and then just form anywhere from like 1 to 3 pounds of meat. You wanna form it somewhat evenly so it can cook evenly, and then it's gonna cook for 6 minutes in the Instant Pot. And then you wanna add about a ½ cup of water to help build pressure and cook everything. So I'm gonna finish that up real quick. The next thing I'm gonna do, I've got the meat cooking. While that cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and get my pasta shells cooking up. It's the only thing I really need to pre-cook. So I'm gonna just do that first because I want to have a little bit of time to cool before I have to handle them and make up the cheeseburger shells. For these pasta shells, I just wanna show you what box you're gonna wanna use. It's a 12-ounce box. You only need about anywhere from 22 to 26 shells, but sometimes in these boxes, some are broken. You might have some tear a little bit when you're cooking them. So if you cook up a few extra, but you won't need all of them. Then I'm gonna write on my Ziploc bags all the meals that we're gonna prepare, and then we're gonna start throwing things in bags. I cut up 5 small onions, and it made about 4 cups of chopped onion. And my little noodles are done. So I'm gonna just drain these to cool down. Next step, we are going to start the spaghetti sauce. I'm gonna do 1 batch on the stove because I wanna cook it up and use that for the lasagna. And the other 2, I'm just gonna throw in freezer bags because when they thaw out, they'll cook and simmer and all the flavors can meld better. And for my spaghetti sauce, first I'm gonna dump about 2/3 cups of onion and 1 can of diced tomatoes. Next, you need 2 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce, or if you're like me, you could do 1 28-ounce can. And spices, tablespoon of oregano, tablespoon of basil, teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1/4 teaspoon of sage, dash of sugar, and throw in some salt and pepper. And then here's my spaghetti sauce on the stove, and it's just gonna simmer here until I'm ready to make my lasagna. My ground beef is done cooking in the Instant Pot. The sling makes it so handy to just pull it out, and I'm gonna use my cool meat chopper to chop up that meat. You could also use a knife, and I'm gonna dump in 3 cups of ground beef in each bag and mix it up, and that one is done. Next, homemade sloppy joes. Start with 1 cup of low sugar ketchup, 8 ounces of tomato sauce, a teaspoon of mustard, a tablespoon of green pepper diced fine, a pound of ground beef, which again is about 3 cups, 1 tablespoon of dried minced onion, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed, 1/2 teaspoon of dried minced garlic, and seal it and mix it. Next, Rio Rancho taco meat. I'm doing 2 batches of Rio Rancho taco meat. Again, I've got 3 cups of ground beef, 1/2 cup of salsa, a can of diced green chilies, a tablespoon of taco seasoning, 2 ounces or 3 tablespoons of ranch dressing, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoon of brown sugar, a dash of red pepper, a dash of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/3 cup of water, and about a 1/2 cup of onion, more or less. Go ahead and seal it, mix it, and we are moving on to cheeseburger stuffed shells. So you'll start with a 1/4 cup of mustard, half cup of ketchup, tablespoon of Worcestershire, half teaspoon of pepper, and then in another bowl you need to whisk together another cup of ketchup and 15 ounces of tomato sauce. And don't forget 2 cups of shredded cheese. Then get your ground beef ready and you will stir it right into that mixture. Next, get 2 clean foil pans and spread a layer of that tomato sauce on the bottom. Then you'll need your shells and your mixture. It is time to stuff. I use a cookie scoop to fill my shells, and you'll see you can get about 13-14 shells in each pan. Go ahead and spread the sauce all over the shells, top it with cheese, and then top with a layer of plastic wrap, and then write on your foil the directions. Now, I do like to remind myself to remove the plastic. Perfect. Now, anyone can bake cheeseburger stuffed shells for dinner. All right, last recipe, we're gonna make some lasagna. You need 8 ounces of ricotta, 8 ounces of cottage cheese, 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, a half cup of Parmesan cheese, 2 eggs, half tablespoon of oregano, half tablespoon of basil, half tablespoon of parsley, half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Get your 2 clean foil pans, or you could do 1 9x13 pan. And remember that spaghetti sauce that's been simmering on the stove? Time to pull that out. You're gonna just layer in that spaghetti sauce that already has the meat in it. Break apart some lasagna noodles, put your cottage cheese mixture on, top with sauce, and then 1 more layer. Lasagna noodles, cheese mixture, sauce, and top it with more mozzarella if you want. Otherwise, wrap some plastic on, right on your foil, cover it securely, and done with lasagna. Yes, it took a little bit longer than my chicken meals because it wasn't just a dump and go. If you want to check those out, right here is where they are. I've got links below for all of the tools that I used. Check this one out or this one, you might like it. I will see you guys next time.